Do you want to know how it is to live and work in the United States? Then stick around, videos coming up right now. Hey, what's cooking guys? Marcel here again from Slamming It Out. Thank you for watching my video, and today part 6 of my mini-series Living and Working Abroad. Today there is a very special location on my list. It is Scottsdale in Arizona in the United States of America. Scottsdale is a city within the greater Phoenix area, and Phoenix itself is the largest city in Arizona. Scottsdale is a lovely place, a lot of green, a lot of golf courses. The weather is really nice, especially in the winter. Yeah, it's no snow, don't worry, but very comfortable 25 degrees during the day, and during the nighttime it can get a little bit colder because it's considered a desert climate. But you don't want to be there during the summer months like June, July, August, because it's like just so damn hot. It's like 45 to 50 degrees Celsius because the sun is just burning like crazy. So how did I get to Scottsdale and beautiful Arizona and beautiful Phoenix? Yeah, I had a friend at the time in Germany. Actually, he is a German, but he already moved to Arizona, to Phoenix, to Scottsdale. And I was in touch with him via email, and from time to time we gave us an update, and he seemed to be very happy there in Scottsdale, because almost every time when he finished off his emails, he was writing like, okay, Marcel, I'm gonna see you later. I'm going now into the pool before I go to work. And I was thinking, what the hell is he talking about? I asked him, do you have a swimming pool at the place where you live? I say, yes, we do have a swimming pool here. And the weather is gorgeous. This is fantastic. And I thought, oh my God, that's something I must try also. And I was really jealous actually. And I couldn't really imagine what kind of life he is living there. And then he also told me there are a lot of other German people living and working there. It seemed to be like a big group of Germans having a lot of fun in America. So that sounded for me already like a dream script. And I bought a ticket. I flew to Phoenix. I actually also applied at the same hotel, and I had an interview with the chef and everybody, and it worked out very well, and I signed the contract. And this is how I got to Phoenix, to Scottsdale in Arizona in 2001. I must say though, I was actually very lucky to get the job, because my interview was in August 2001, and we all know that in September, just actually a month later, the disaster happened in New York, the 9/11 thing, and it was not sure, it was not clear, and it was certainly not safe that I still could continue my application process, my visa process and everything, because they easily could have said, okay, Marcel, sorry, but due to the current circumstances, we will cancel all visas and everything. But nothing happened. They just proceeded with my application, and then early November I arrived in beautiful Scottsdale and beautiful Arizona. So it was my first time in America. I worked at the JW Marriott's Camelback Inn Resort Golf Club and Spa. I know it's a very long name, but it's worth to look it up on Google. Check out this place. It is kind of a flagship property. People who know the Marriott company very well, they also know the JW Marriott's Camelback Inn Resort Golf Club and Spa. I joined there for a management training program, because at the time, and probably even today, it is actually the only way to get a job in the United States. You cannot just simply apply, you know, like in other countries, but you have to go through a certain process, and I received a J1 student visa. This is valid for like 18 months. It cost a lot of money also. At the time, I think it was like $1,500 US. So there was some cost involved, and that was the process how I actually ended up in Scottsdale. The good thing was, since it was my first time really far away from Germany, that there was a bunch of German young people similar to Switzerland. If remember, I talked last week about my Swiss experience, so if you have not watched this video, go ahead and watch it. I was talking about my experience in Switzerland and how helpful it was in the beginning to have a German buddies there, you know, girls and boys from all over Germany, and they also wanted to get the American experience. So we lived together, we worked together, and we had a great time. First time in America, first time working in an American kitchen, I can tell you is quite a difference. You know, I mean, of course, they also obviously cook only with water, but how the kitchen is set up and everything is in English, you know, the terms, the language, and the food, you know. This is something for me what was very interesting to learn, to differentiate, to learn about the different aspects about European German food and American food. The property itself, the Camelback Inn Resort, actually got its name from the Camelback Mountain, which is surrounding the property. Beautiful place, mountains, a lot of outlets. Not like a typical hotel building. It's not like a building. It's more like constructed like a village. Very quiet area. Beautiful place. Yeah, and it was interesting to see how they work in America. There you have an hourly wage instead of a monthly salary. That was the first thing I noticed. Of course, you also pay taxes, but you have an hourly wage. You get paid by hours, you know, and every week we received a paycheck. And that was a little bit different because it actually motivated me and most other people also to work actually longer hours. You know, unlike in Europe where you get a monthly salary and then you clock watch, you know, after 8 hours you say you want to go home, want to take care of something else. But there in America, you get paid by hours. You know, it was like $9 an hour. Like almost 20 years ago when I was there. So it motivated me to work overtime, and there was plenty of opportunity which I found great. For example, if I was on my off day, but there was an event in the hotel, then I could actually ask my boss, and if they needed help, I could jump in and help, and they would pay me for like 2 hours doing a carving station, you know, slicing roast beef or prime rib for 2 hours for a lunch event on my off day. When I came in and gave them a hand, they paid me $50. That was good money at the time, and $9 an hour was not that much actually, you know. And it happened that quite a few times that I applied for extra jobs, and I think the longest day I ever done there was like an 18-hour day with like almost, yeah, what, three shifts or something. You know, we worked from early morning, 6 in the morning until midnight that day because I wanted to earn as much money as possible because I was paid by hours. But at the end of the day, I was not happy with the traineeship because I felt I am not learning what I actually wanted to learn, and looking at the cost, you know, paying for the ticket, paying for the visa, it was easily already like $2,500 I spent before I even arriving there. And then looking at the results I'm getting, I was disappointed, you know, because I felt basically like cheap labor. I did not feel like that somebody was looking after me. There was no real training program in place, you know. Unlike my second American experience in San Diego and California, which I will cover in the next video. So if you wanna listen to that story, if you want to know how I ended up a second time in America a few years later and how successful this story was, then stick around, wait for next week when I cover this in the next video. But for this period, it was not what I was looking for, unfortunately. You know, shit happens, and I left a little bit earlier than 18 months, and I went back to Germany. I'm disappointed, of course. I remember arriving in Phoenix in Arizona, first time America, man. I tell you, you know, all the cliches you've seen on video and in the movies, you know, and suddenly you yourself find yourself in the United States, you know. And of course, you know, Arizona is a state where you have very wide roads, it's a desert state, so all the cliches are true, you know. And the hotel gave me a car for the first 2 weeks, yeah, for free, and I was every day on the road and driving around, and I really enjoyed my time. The first few weeks was like a flash, it was very surreal, you know, to like find yourself in this American environment, an environment which I only knew from the movies. What about the American people, you know? I found out very quickly that they are, believe it or not, are just normal human beings like anybody else. And yeah, they have to wake up in the morning, they go to work. A lot of them, they actually, at the time already worked 2 jobs because the money was not enough to feed and take care of their family. And this is what then later also set in with me, the normal daily routine. You know, in the beginning, like I said, the first few weeks was really like a shock and a positive. It really was, it flashed me, everything flashed me there, you know. Now I'm in America and I'm riding my big car here on the highway, and we're going to Las Vegas and we are going to Los Angeles and we're gonna visit the Universal Studios. It was like a dream, but later on, you know, a few months into my traineeship, then the normal routine sets in, you know, and you have to set your alarm clock at 6 a.m. in the morning. You wake up, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, and then you go to work, and you have a lot of work to do. Sometimes you work overtime, and then after the shift you are tired, and then you know you have to work the next 10 days. So you have to do your groceries, you have to go to the petrol station and put your gas into the car, you know, all these normal things. So this is daily normal life. And then what happened then is not that you are aware so much anymore where you actually are, you know, in the country of your dreams, and then there's palm trees and this and that. You don't notice that anymore. And so it was with the American people, you know, they are just normal people. They also have a job, they work very hard, they have a family to feed, they have kids to feed, you know, working 2 or 3 jobs because the money is not enough, you know. They are not rich people, you know, most of the people, they are really very nice people, I must say that. Very nice people, down to earth, very good heart, yeah, and hardworking people, and just nice people. What about American food? Let's talk about American food, but I'm not sure if I should talk so much about American food. I mean, everybody knows American food. We all have these fast food chains. I don't need to talk about it actually that much. But remembering when I came to America, and I was mentioning that before, the difference in between European cuisine and American cuisine. You know, what they call fine dining in Europe, you cannot say the same thing for American fine dining. I worked in a American fine dining restaurant, you know, and what we served there were basically steaks, you know, like New York strip or beef tenderloin, together with a baked potato and some green asparagus, and that was considered fine dining, you know, and that is American fine dining. I know you have different and other restaurants who really come up to that European level of fine dining, but what I've seen there, I was a little bit also, yeah, not maybe disappointed, but I was a little bit shocked to see that they call it fine dining, because they told me, Marcel, next week you're gonna start working in our fine dining restaurant, and I was happy. Yeah, finally I learned something. Finally, now everything will be paid off here, you know. And they put me into this fine dining restaurant, and it was, for my terms, not a fine dining restaurant. Anyway, that's why I was there. That's why that is what I was learning there, to distinguish between the differences. And American food, yeah, of course, you know, I mean, you visit these shopping malls, then, by the way, the shopping malls also really nice, especially in Arizona, because some of them were open malls, you know. I didn't know this kind of mall, because malls for me is always a closed building, you know. But there, and also in California, you have open malls, you know, open air malls, which is really nice when you walk around and the sun is shining, you have fresh air. Anyway, you go to these malls and you have these burger joints and pizza joints, and everything is jumbo and bigger and bolder and better, you know, these giant sized pizzas. And and giant-sized burgers. So this is maybe something here I can share with you, but other than that, I think there's not so much to share about American food, at least not in my opinion. So what did I like about my experience, about my trip to America? Yeah, definitely the overall cultural experience, what I mentioned already, and then also the culinary experience. Yeah, the culinary experience, and that brings me already to actually the point what I didn't like so much. It was the culinary, the training was not so satisfactory at the end, unfortunately. But that's why I made a second attempt, and that was much more successful. But I learned, of course, a lot, about the culture, about the people. They are normal people. The country is great. It's a diverse country. It's a huge country. America is so big, When you travel with a car from Phoenix to San Diego, for example, you travel 8 hours and you see a lot of different nature, very diverse. The most of it is desert, but then when you come to San Diego, there's a different climate already. Yeah, definitely it was a very different, interesting experience, and also it was the first time away from Germany, and I learned something about myself. I learned that I can sustain in a foreign country very far away from Germany, and in order to sustain, I had to learn the language, so I had to improve my English, which I actually did not very well, because there were a lot of Germans there. We only talked German the whole day. I remember I had a Oxford dictionary, a big fat book, carrying with me all the time. I remember my entire time in Arizona, I never looked up any word once in this book, That was just lying around there and catching dust. And actually I did not improve my English, unfortunately. Maybe a little bit, but the overall experience, even it was at the end not so successful, of course I gained a lot. And of course, overall it was bottom line an enrichment and a positive experience. I recommend everybody, if you have a chance to work in America, and if you only can go over and through a student visa, do it, yeah. Go and make the experience, because you will learn a different culture, you will get to know other people. And what you see on the TV is one thing. What you see in the movies is another thing. And certainly, and here's probably the biggest advice I can give you here at the end, what you see on TV and the politics and everything is really something completely different and does not speak for the normal American people. Yeah, they have nothing to do with that. That's why I invite you to visit this country, and if you have a chance to work there for a longer time, it's always good to have American experience on your resume. But then when you will have settled down there and you start to really have your normal routine, you will see they are normal people. Everything is pretty much normal. And at the end of the day, it will be a great experience. And for me, it was a great experience, and it was a door opener also for my next jobs to come. People they checked through my resume, they saw that I worked in Arizona, they saw that I worked in California. Don't you think that is a door opener? Of course, people were interested in me, and this is what I understood from the beginning. In order to make career, if you want to walk up the ladder, you have to travel to different countries, and you have to work on your resume. And if you want to get more tips and information on living and working in the United States, then I highly recommend to get this book. It's called Slamming It Out: How I Got Shit Done in 5-Star Kitchens, What TV Chefs Don't Tell You. It's available on Amazon and Kindle. I released it last year, and this book is packed with useful tips, tricks and other tools if you want to become a better and much more professional chef. And maybe you are already working in the kitchen, and maybe it happens that you are already a leader, leading small, medium-sized or even larger teams, And maybe it is the case that you are struggling. Maybe it's your first leadership role. And if you have problems and if you're struggling in communicating with your team members, if you're struggling to get the team together, if you're struggling with your communication, maybe you are experience these problems, you try to communicate, to convey a message, but your staff seems not to listen or misunderstand your messages, then I recommend that you check out my newly released online course on Udemy. It is all about leadership, how to become a powerful team leader. The link is in the descriptions. Go check it out if you want to become a better and more powerful team leader. Alright, I'm done for today. I hope you liked this little video about my first experience in the United States, in Scottsdale, in Arizona. If you like this video, please click the like button for me. Give me your thumbs up, and if you have any questions or suggestions or concern or anything else, then please put them in the comment sections below. Thank you for watching my video. Stay healthy, stay safe, and don't forget, guys, always keep slamming it out. Take care. Bye bye.